Hades, the lord of the underworld, alongside Poseidon and Zeus, are the trinity of the great Olympian gods. In ancient Rome, this god is known as Pluto. His Roman name refers to the god's wealth. After all, the god of the underworld is also the guardian of all the wealth sources found under the soil, like gold, silver, and gems, which made Hades the richest god of all. His name Hades means the one who cannot be seen. As he fought alongside the other Olympian gods against the Titans, he was presented by the Cyclops with the Helm of Darkness. This artifact had the power of invincibility. Hades used his helmet to infiltrate himself into the enemy ranks, deceptively attacking the Titan army. After their victory, Hades and his brothers shared the world. He reigned over the underworld, where the souls of the dead were welcomed for their final rest or eternal punishment. Hades had always been quite dedicated to his work, and that is why the god has rarely visited the surface. Although he has his seat in the council of the gods at Olympus, that seat is often empty. In one of his few visits to the world of men, Hades, from the top of his chariot, pulled by powerful black horses, abducted Persephone, the goddess of spring, and took her to his underground palace. The young goddess was Demeter's daughter, the goddess of the harvest and soil fertility. Hades offered pomegranate seeds to her beloved, and, after accepting them, Persephone established an indissoluble bond with her new husband. Demeter could not cope with the loss of her daughter and threatened to make the land barren and frozen forever. With such a threat, it was agreed to share Persephone's guard. She stayed with her husband part of the year and returned to her mother during the other part. This myth explained the origin of the seasons, given that, while Persephone was with her husband, the goddess Demeter neglected her tasks, unbridling autumn and winter. When mother and daughter were reunited, flowers emerged again, indicating the arrival of spring. Persephone became the queen of the underworld, and, together with her husband, the couple would forever reign over the dead. Hades was helped by several other deities in his task of ruling the underworld. The judges of death, Minos, Sarpedon, and Rhadamanthus, who arbitrated the souls of the recently dead. The Erinyes, who were helpful to punish the criminals, among other deities. Hades seldom interfered with the world of men or with the Olympian affairs. One of the few times that Hades turned his attention to the surface was when King Sisyphus of Corinth cheated death with his cunning moves. Thanatos, the god of death, was imprisoned by the king, and then no one died, with Hades no longer receiving newcomers. The god of the underworld was also deceived by the cunning mortal being. Albeit his astuteness, Sisyphus failed to deceive the gods forever, and for his crimes he was condemned to a terrible punishment in Tartarus, which would last forever. In one of his rare visits to the Olympus, Hades was wounded by Hercules and traveled to the god's dwelling in search of nectar and ambrosia to heal his wound. In the arts, the god is often depicted with a serious semblance, holding his fork, in the company of Cerberus, the hell dog, whose function is to defend the entrance of his master's kingdom. In ancient times, the god was treated with the utmost respect. The Greeks avoided pronouncing his name, and, when they made sacrifices, they tried not to look at the altar, since they wanted to postpone the inevitable encounter with the god as long as possible. Although generally represented as a villain in films such as Clash of the Titans and Disney's Hercules, Hades is not an evil figure. As a matter of fact, several records mention the god's benevolent character, such as when he allows Orpheus to return to the living world with his lover, Eurydice, or even when he agrees to share his wife with his mother-in-law. But the god was merciless with those who committed dreadful sins. They were thrown into Tartarus and endured terrible torments. Hades is not known for his marital infidelity, contrary to Zeus and Poseidon, but he is no saint as well. The god even had affairs with some nymphs. The most famous was the beautiful and proud nymph Mintha. She fueled the rage of Demeter and Persephone and was turned into the plant that shares the nymph's name. The god had a small offspring, among whom Macaria was the most famous, the goddess of blessed death. Those who love mythology are particularly interested in Hades, for he is a source of fear and fascination.